will come to order. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Here.
Councilman Questa.
Here.
Councilman Torres.
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilman Keenan.
Here.
Councilman Sedan. Councilman Gollman.
Here.
Councilman Mazza.
Here.
President Wood.
Here. 8 members present. Can I ask that you all please rise for the prayer of allegiance led by Councilman Carlos Torres, the first word.
Almighty God, as we legislate for our community, may a strong sense of justice and fair play permeate in all that we do. Above all, when we seek out your holy will, give us the strength to follow it, regardless of all your considerations. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we open the meeting to public speaking, at this time, I'm going to call up Detective Ray Smith. I'm going to present him with a commendation to City Council. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last couple of weeks, we had Detective Ray Smith and a couple of our fire officers honored by the Union County 200 Club. And it was most fitting that this City Council also recognize these young gentlemen for their hard work in our police department and fire department. With us today is Detective Raymond Smith from our Elizabeth Police Department. And on February 20, 2013, Detective Smith was assigned to investigate the theft of truck batteries in which the suspect was selling stolen batteries to the recycling center in Elizabeth. The detective approached the suspect and walked away from the detective and entered a nearby automobile. The detective asked the suspect to stop several times. The suspect ignored the detective and attempted to flee the scene in the vehicle. There were several people who were standing to the rear of the vehicle and were in harm of being struck by the fleeing vehicle. The detective quickly drew his firearm and shot the suspect twice at close range. And the detective had the presence of mind to holster his weapon, update headquarters as to his situation, and request EMS services. He then approached the suspect in the vehicle, stopped at a safe location, and administered first aid to the suspect until other assistants arrived. Therefore, be it resolved, the City Council of the City of Elizabeth commends Detective Raymond Smith for his exemplary conduct with regard to the above-referenced incident. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall be spread in full upon the minutes of the City Council. And the municipal clerk is directed to authorize a certified copy, which will be presented tonight to Detective Raymond Smith. Let's give a round of applause. The 200 Club recipient fireman will be here in July, and we also have a competition to present to them at that time. This time, I'm opening up the public speaking portion of the meeting. Any member of the public is allowed to come up and approach the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Tommy Herrera. I saw most of you last week in the pre-council meeting.
Register.
596 Street. 519 Spencer Street.
Yes. Career is it?
Section 6-4.
Tommy.
Correct.
Correct. Gotta slow down.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Today we're just going to stand up here and thank you all for the brief that you gave us last week for the animals that were in the Elizabeth Animal Shelter. I'm no longer disgusted, let's put it that way, by the conditions that are there because I've been there. spoke to me about this is speaking on the degree of anonymity because of the very investigation that you all are conducting at this very moment. Because they understand that their job might be in jeopardy if they speak out. Now, I'm saying this to you because I believe this should be part of your investigation as to where these dogs are going. And in fact, in my opinion, my own opinion, I believe it connects the dot in this matter that we're going forth with Daphne and Rocco. The fact that they were held for only 30 minutes, according to the books, is suspicious, right? 30 minutes doesn't really make sense. They didn't call the veterinarian, they didn't do much, but on the books it specifically says how long they were there for, no another day. So it would, in a sense, make sense to me at least that these animals are being sold off to who I'm not. I'm speaking on this with a degree of anonymity. I would like for you all to investigate on this. So I'm investigate further. If things like this are happening, if these dogs are being verbally lied to for the past month, I've been lied to that Daphne Rocco, that Jennifer Arteta was lied to, and furthermore lied to probably even more, a lot more times than she really thinks. First that they were sick, then that they were killed off, and then some other reason or that they didn't even have the dogs. To learn that in fact they might be being sold out to individual parties for a large sum of money. I think that it needs some kind of investigation immediately. I think it's beyond respect. It's beyond any kind of patience. I am losing patience to speak bluntly. I'm losing patience with this investigation. We have not learned of any new information for the past week. And I'd like to hear from someone, from at least the law department, from the council members, that something is being done more than what we are doing. Because what we are doing is honest. This is not a crusade. That we are trying to end something, an injustice to the city that is beyond what should ever happen in any city in the United States in 2014. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So I thank you all for being honest with us in the last meeting. I respect you all for listening to us and voicing your concerns, but we need to move faster. Because if more dogs, if this is happening with more and more dogs and cats, of course, then we can't work as fast as them, obviously. Because if they're selling them off every 5 minutes, then how am I supposed to go there every single minute to the Elizabeth Animal Shelter to protect these dogs? I've saved 3 dogs. Me, Rosa, Joseph, Jennifer Arteta, and our campaign, I've saved 3 dogs in about 5 days. I have found individual fosters in 5 days for these dogs. That is more than your Elizabeth Animal Shelter has done, probably the past month. My money, my taxpayer money, my parents' taxpayer money, all of our money is going to these individuals. And if they're selling these animals, then I'm absolutely disgusted. I'm calling for their suspension. I'm calling for a formal investigation. If not, then I have to contact NJSPCA. I'm going to have to move forward, but I need an investigation done immediately on this matter, immediately. And I need to be told, I need to be informed of what's going on, right? So, I hope we move forward on this, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Anyone else?
Good evening, Rosa Joseph, 843 Park Avenue.
Good evening, Ms. Joseph.
Good evening.
Thank you
I
for
just
the
wanna
email.
thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you for the email.
I want to thank you for your email and for giving that dog extra time. We really appreciate it. We're working very, very hard to get those animals adopted and, either pulled by a rescue or individual people. But like I said before, and I was just told here tonight, and I believe that story because at one point, somebody from our group went to the shelter, and there was a very interesting, shady individual taking about 3 or 4 dogs. And that person was not a rescuer. And no individual is going to go in there and adopt 3 or 4 dogs. So this is happening, and I really, like I mentioned to you, and in my proposal that I emailed, we need new people. We need compassionate people, motivated people, people who are really going to go the extra mile to save those animals, and to give the city of Elizabeth, some kind of pride. They're not proud. We're not proud of the shelter. I mean, Elizabeth is a great couple people that are fantastic out there looking for jobs as animal control officers. People who are very passionate, and they're gonna get this done for you. I really want you to think about this, because it's a lot of stake here. I mean, this is not gonna go away. And if nothing is happening, we're gonna go forward with this. I am, I'm a passionate person, but I'm also a polite person. I'm not gonna go crazy on anybody, but we need something done here. We need new people who really, really care what happens to these animals. One of the things I proposed was that the recordings and the calls should be recorded, so we can account for every single animal that's being brought in. Also, another thing that nobody mentioned before, and when people call animal control and say, I want to surrender my animal, okay, they never ask why. We can actually cut down on the number of animals being brought into the shelter. If people say they cannot afford the food or medical bills, guess what? Rescue groups can help. We will collect money for them, a rescue group will pay for the bedding, whatever it is, so that animal stays with the person. So it doesn't end up at the shelter, taking extra space for an animal that needs it. If somebody's moving and they can't take the animal with them, well, reach out to the rescue groups. We'll post them online. Maybe somebody can take them, maybe not, but at least we'll do everything possible so that the animal doesn't end up at the shelter. Again, so a stray animal that gets picked up has a chance. We want to work with this. We want to make this. You have a chance here to make this something wonderful, and I'm looking forward to be part of this. I really want to. I've been living in Elizabeth since '67. My passion is animals. It's always been, and I got that from my dad. But it's always been rescuing animals, and I've been doing that ever since. But this is not rescuing what we're doing here. It's more than that, and something has to be done. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Ms. Joseph, we received your,
Okay.
I received your email at 12 o'clock, and it's going to get forwarded to the director. She'll get in touch with you, okay?
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
I was wondering if I could pass out some pamphlets that I have. Is that okay?
You can give it to the city clerk here. She'll do that.
Hello. My name is Jennifer Arteta. I live on 15 Dayton Street.
David, is there good?
Yes. I just wanted to remind the council that if they didn't know, there is a Facebook page on this, Justice for Daphne and Rocco. It's not only justice for my dogs, Daphne and Rocco, it's also justice for any other animal that has been through this and any other animals in the future in the Elizabeth Animal Shelter. And there is also a petition signed for 2,000 plus people already in the last 2 weeks. And it's going to keep counting all the signatures. So, I mean, the council can't ignore that. There's already 2,000 people signing this, and it's getting very serious. I saw some statistics online on thefrontdoor.com. It's a blog featuring communities who have implemented and maintained a 90% or better of live release rate at local shelters. And that's what I'm handing out over there. Communities and cities listed in this blog as a whole must have saved 90% or more of all its animals coming into the shelter system in the previous calendar year or the fiscal year. 2, the shelter must not have a pit bull or other breed-specific ban in this website. The shelter must also have humane methods of euthanasia. The community shelter in this website also has statistics easily available to the public that are sufficient to calculate a standard live release rate. In this website, there is a recent trend in animal sheltering, which challenges municipal shelters to develop a comprehensive procedure for all owner surrenders, because it is not unusual for half or more of the community intake to be owner surrenders.
there a suggestion in charge of fees or something? Or
Yeah, other cities around the country, they suggest, charge a fee, like a small fee, it's not much. And then also maintain the shelter, that money donated to the shelter is also, for the shelter and the animals. One example is the city of Petaluma, California. There's a population of 58,000 people. In August 1st, 2012, the nonprofit organization of Petaluma Animal Service Foundation took over management of the city's municipal shelter, which did well for the city because in an article that appeared in the Petaluma newspaper last August, a reporter noted that the Petaluma Animal Service Foundation was able to provide more effective services at less cost despite the budget cuts from the city's administration. A large part of their budget comes from donations, fees, and grants. Some of their practices is they take in strays and surrenders. They offer low-cost spay and neuter. They cut average length of animal stays after this particular rescue took over the city's municipal shelter. They took over that and they cut the average stay of the animal, and they increased the number of foster homes. And they also, with the replacement of the shelter director, they replaced the shelter director. City shelter has improved a lot. The live release rate of the shelter is at 97%, including euthanasia. 94% including euthanasia. With a total intake of 1,300 cats and dogs in the shelter.
need to wrap up.
This is other one.
Is this stuff that you handed?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's all there. And there's also a pamphlet on some suggestions that you can, take in of how to use a no-kill shelter. No-kill, in my definition, is where a team can work together with the right directors, the right supervisors, the right team that have compassion for animals, so help adopt these animals out, so they don't have to be killed. Because I know the problem here that when they told me that the dogs died because they didn't have room for them. So I know space can be a problem. So if you have the right team that is proactive, because if there's a bill, there's a way. You have people that care about these animals and want to adopt them out. They're going to get adopted out. There needs to be a Facebook page, there needs to be a website, there needs to be pictures for these animals. So these animals don't have to be killed.
These suggestions were in Ms. George's letter, and I'm going to put her in touch with the director.
Okay, yeah, it's all in that pamphlet, just, million copies. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council? Anyone else wishing to address the council?
Good evening, Jillian Collins, 72 Georgia Street, Clark, New Jersey. I just have a question, a statement within your investigation to find out if when they bring a dog or a cat in and they dispose of that animal through euthanasia and that animal has to be disposed of, I wanted to know if they provide records to the health department of where these animals are disposed.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Could you put that in part of your investigation?
I'm not investigating, I'm going to refer that to our attorney, or he's a part of the law department on that.
Okay, and also, someone had asked a question, do they get paid to put down the animals? Do they get an incentive from the state to put down animals versus getting them adopted? Because at one time there was a kennel being charged and they made more money by putting animals down than getting them adopted.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council? Anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Move on to public hearings.
My name's Diana Barrios. I live at 353 Williamson Street. I feel really bad for what happened to Jennifer's dogs, but I'm here to speak for the animals. I volunteer at another inner city shelter, and I've been told, Elizabeth, that I cannot go inside, I cannot volunteer, I have to write a letter to my mayor, I have to write a letter to whoever, which has been done. No response. I volunteer, I help dogs get adopted, I have foster animals of my own, and I would like to do the same for the animals in my own town. And I work with different rescues, and in Elizabeth, no one's allowed pictures. Like I said before, how can we get fosters if there's no pictures? And I think it's just very sad that the way that we're scared to speak out because we can get banned, but why should we get banned? This is a public shelter. This is not a private shelter where they can just close the door on you. This is a town shelter. We are residents. We are taxpayers. I've been living here mostly all my life. And the last time I went in January, February, they didn't even allow me inside. They said, "Are you taking the dog?" I said, "No, I just want to go inside." If you're not taking the dog, you're not coming inside. And I just think that was really unfair. There's no applications being done. You don't know who these dogs are going to. You can go to the backyard breeder, and in Elizabeth, I'm sure there's plenty of them because this is an urban town. There's backyard breeders. This is dog space, dog neuter. They could probably create more dogs, and those dogs are going to come right back into the shelter. I don't understand. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate people. People in this town are so uneducated. I walk around with my foster kid, and there's 2 pit bulls off leash, and I'm screaming at the guy. You know, it's just not important to people, and I understand that because there's just some people who are not animal lovers. So I get that, but there are animal lovers in this town, and I take my time. I don't get paid. I'm not asking for money. I volunteer. I take dogs to events every weekend. I go to the shelter. I walk them. I work with them. I've cat tested. I've worked with different rescues. I've fostered, animals from different rescues, and I want to be able to do the same for the animals in my own town and not for another town because I live in this town and not in that one. And it just common sense to me, and I can't even go there. And you go there and no one's there. How am I supposed to go with the rescue to see if we can pull a dog? Maybe I can tell, "Hey, can you come with me? Let's go get this dog from Elizabeth." No, you can't. There's no one there. 3 weeks ago, I saw a dog on Jane Street. It was pouring rain that day, and I see a dog skinny, look like it's hurt, and I'm trying to grab it. I'm trying to grab it. Who knows? The dog could attack me, could bite me. I don't care. I love the animals. I'm gonna help if I can. I can't find the dog that gets into the house. I call animal control. No answer. I call again. Put it to voicemail. Did I get a call back? Did anyone even bother to take a second out of their time that they're getting paid for to do to call me back and say, "Hey, ma'am, we went to J Street and checked it out. We can't find anything. We're gonna keep looking." Of course not. Of course not. I kept calling and no answer. So I just hope that something changes and we're allowed to go in there, and there's people in this town that do love animals and do want to help, and we're not asking for money, and there needs to be more space in there. I know it's not possible to have 100% no-kill in this town. Elizabeth is what, the 3rd, 4th largest in New Jersey? Okay, 4th largest town in New Jersey, Elizabeth. The amount of people here that are uneducated, that are not spaying and neutering their animals, I'm sure that these dogs are just going into the shelter. They're dumping their animals. They don't care. They're not compassionate. They just throw them out. I know they're ending up in the shelter. I know it's going to be very hard to be a no-kill, but at least have some compassion. So let's try to do something and change it and get these dogs a new life. Get these dogs foster, get their network. So.
Ms. Barrios, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Give Ms. Joseph your information. She's presenting that here late. She presented to the city council a proposal about volunteers. Just make sure she has your name, okay?
Thank you.
Last time, anyone else wishing to address city council? Please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting starts at 7:30.
veterinarian, pretty much the same thing that was going on here in Elizabeth. The veterinarian was euthanizing before 7 days. There was a lot of parvo outbreaks in the shelter because of poor heating and plumbing. And that causes disease, cross-contamination disease, because that's all boiling up in the draining system that is clogged. Now, see, ever since I started working for the city of East Orange, which was
I'm going to interrupt you just for a second.
No problem.
We don't want to hear about East Orange. If you have an issue with regards to Elizabeth or as a taxpayer in Elizabeth, feel free to talk. What you did in East Orange really doesn't concern us.
Okay, I apologize. No, I mean, I'm just,
If you have any suggestions,
yeah, I do have
you
some.
put them in writing, and we're going to have a meeting with the director, so you can make any proposal you wish. You weren't here last week, so I can take that. But I made the announcement last week at the council meeting. If there's any member of the public that has any comments or suggestions to improve the animal shelter,
Okay,
put them in writing. We've had a couple of residents who have done that, and all of this information is going to be directed to the director of the animal shelter.
sure.
If you're willing to do that, then we weren't happy to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So, I'm just very concerned about this because I'm a big animal advocate and a big animal lover. I own 4 dogs of my own, all pit bulls, pit bull mixes, German Shepherd mix as well. And you know, I feel as if what they did to Jennifer's dogs was absolutely not right at all, and that was not even like they're not abiding by the law. The law is the law, whichever way you want to put it. And I mean, we have to be the animal's voice because they don't have a voice. And honestly, I mean, they don't even really temperament test these animals or anything like that. And I also watched from, on June 17th that, the animal shelter was empty. And I just want to know why that is. Because, why should there be so many euthanized animals that are really great animals that get adopted? And I just feel as if that it's just not right and it's not abiding by state law and protocol.
So we have an investigation going on.
You do? Okay, great, sir. Thank you.
You got a minute left, miss.
Excuse me?
You have a minute left.
A minute left? Well, I just wish the best for these animals, and hopefully that you can get, better ACOs, better kennel workers, veterinarians to work with you and work with us in this community for the animals. That's pretty much about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Public speakers now, 8 o'clock, after 8 o'clock. Move on to public hearings. Public speaking is now over, it's after 8 o'clock, moving on to public hearings.
Ordinance number 4466. Amend chapter 13.16.120, 130, 140, 150, 160, and 170 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Sewer Service System, specifically to implement a new sewer utility tariff design to set new sewer rates effective August 1, 2014, and to augment the language thereof.
Heard reading of ordinance number 4466. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address City Council on ordinance number 4466? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4467, authorize the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Jerry Shozy, 73 Westfield Avenue.
Heard reading of ordinance number 4467. Is there anyone wishing to address City Council on ordinance number 4467? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting.
Ordinance number 4468, authorize the establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for William Blaylock, 485 Catherine Street.
Heard reading reading of ordinance number 4468. Is there anyone wishing to address the council on ordinance number 4468? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. The Elizabeth Avenue Special Improvement District fiscal year 2015 budget in the amount of $325,320. Is there anyone wishing to address the council on the Elizabeth Avenue Special Improvement District fiscal year 2015 budget? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Consent of my colleagues, we're going to dispense of reading petitions, communications, and reports of city officers. We're going to move on to ordinances on first reading.
Ordinance number 4469, amend chapter 2.56, section 110B of the Code of the City of Elizabeth, specifically relating to the table of organization of the police department. Police personnel as provided on attached schedule.
Third reading of ordinance number 449. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Are there any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Ballman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on first reading.
Ordinance number 4470. Amend chapter 2.60.90B of the Code of the City of Elizabeth, specifically relating to the table of organization of the fire department, fire personnel, as provided on the attached schedule.
Third reading of ordinance number 4470. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Been moved and seconded. Any remarks? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Ballman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on first reading.
Ordinance number 4471. Amend ordinance number 1747 entitled an ordinance to establish certain classified and unclassified positions in the city's table of organization and to set the annual compensation for said positions to be paid from April 1, 1984, except as otherwise provided by the municipal budget to be paid as other employees are paid as provided on the tax schedule.
Third reading of ordinance number 4471. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
It's moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusting. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Ballman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. All the ordinance passes on first reading. Public hearing and further consideration of foregoing ordinances shall take place at the City Council meeting to be held Tuesday, July 22nd at 7:30 p.m. Now move on to ordinances on final passage.
Ordinance number 4466. Amend chapter 13.16.120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Sewer Service System, specifically to implement a new sewer utility tariff design, to set new sewer rates effective August 1, 2014, and to augment the language thereof.
You heard the reading of ordinance number 4466 on final. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote on final, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Just have one comment. I think this is to go in compliance with that settlement. Follow the settlement that has been, okay. Roll call.
This doesn't affect the residents.
I can hear you too.
So does this affect residents' rates or is this just corporate rates?
This creates three classes of users based on meter size. And it would affect anybody that's got a larger than a 5/8" meter. However, any residential units that have a meter size that bigger than that can apply for an exemption. So it will not affect any fully used residential property.
Give me an example where a resident would have the 5-inch or larger meter size.
It's a multiple not affect them because there's an exemption.
Okay.
So long as it's a residential property, it falls under the exemption.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4467, authorizing establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Jerry Shelsik, 73 Westfield Avenue.
Heard a reading of ordinance number 4467. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on final.
Ordinance number 4468, authorizing establishment of a personalized handicap parking space for Lillian Blaylock, 485 Catherine Street.
Third reading of ordinance number 4468. What is your pleasure?
Move the ordinance for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Ordinance passes on final. Ladies and gentlemen, we have before you a request from Las Palmas Restaurant. We need a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Moved by Councilman Mazza. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gollman. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty. No. Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
No.
Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. What's before us?
Letter dated June 24, 2014, from Mr. Wendell Reyes, Las Palmas Restaurant, Elizabeth, requesting that your honorable body consider the approval of an extension of the liquor license to the parking area of the establishment from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. on June 28, 29, July 4th, 5th, 12, 13, 2014.
I heard the reading of the resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move to table.
It's a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call on the table.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Grover.
Aye. Motion to table is approved. That matter has been tabled. Madam Clerk, please advise us the ABC Secretary. Mr. Las Palmas is not allowed to have extension of use of premises for the days he's requested. Cannot have it. It's been tabled. So June 28th, 29th, definitely out. If you want the other days, you're gonna have to write a letter for the city council to consider next Tuesday. Okay? Move on to new business.
Adopt the Elizabeth Avenue Special Improvement District fiscal year 2015 budget in the amount of $325,320 Authorize fiscal year 2014 municipal and sewer utility budget transfers in the amount of $81,000. In compliance with State Fiscal Year 2014 Appropriations Act, City Council is requested to approve all payments related to accumulated uncompensated absence benefits. Authorize the award of a contract to Hartford Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut, through the agent of record Hughes Plummer Associates, to provide a policy of insurance covering auxiliary police officers for the period June 30, 2014 to June 30, 2015 at an annual premium of $310.
Heard a reading of the resolutions, what is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
They've been moved and seconded. Any comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty. Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Grover.
Aye. Resolutions passed.
Amend the resolution adopted May 27, 2014, authorizing the award of contract to Lawman Supply Company of New Jersey for the purchase of items for simunition training for the police department at a cost not to exceed $20,000, specifically to include additional equipment and crime prevention supplies in the amount of $100,000. Authorize the award of a contract to Atlantic Tactical, Inc., New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, for the purchase of ammunition, protective vests, and crime prevention equipment and supplies for the police department for the period May 1, 2014 through April 30, 2015, at a cost not to exceed $100,000. Authorize the award of a contract to General Sales Administration, trading as Major Police Supply, Kendall, New Jersey, for the purchase of emergency lighting equipment for the Departments of Police, Fire, and Ambulance Service Bureau for the period May 29, 2014 through April 30, 2015, at a cost not to exceed $200,000. Authorize the award of respective contracts to Flemington Aluminum and Brass, Inc., Flemington, New Jersey, Signal Control Products, Branchburg, New Jersey, Marmalite Company, Inc., Manasquan, New Jersey, Traffic Parts, Inc., Spring, Texas, General Traffic Equipment Corporation, Newburgh, New York, and Intelligent Traffic Supply Products, LLC, South Plainfield, New Jersey, for the furnishing of traffic signal parts for the Electric Bureau of the Police Department for a period of 2 years in an amount not to exceed $90,000 for all vendors combined. Authorize the mayor to execute the collective bargaining agreement with the Elizabeth Fire Department Emergency Medical Service Supervisors for the period July 1, 2013 to June 30, 2017. Authorize proper city officials to execute a memorandum of understanding between the City of Elizabeth and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the New Jersey Department of Transportation, County of Union, and City of Linden for planning, environmental assessment, design, construction, and right-of-way acquisition of I-278, Route 29 interchange improvements. Authorize the city treasurer to cancel tax lien records premiums in excess of 5 years for liens that are foreclosed totaling $94,100 in said sum to be credited to miscellaneous revenue not anticipated. Authorize the city treasurer to cancel tax credits for tax years 2005 and 2006 in the amount of $80,739.26 and said sum be credited to miscellaneous revenue not anticipated. Authorize the tax collector to cancel disallowed senior citizen deductions for tax year 2011 pursuant to a delineated list submitted June 17, 2014 in the total amount of $10,250. Authorize the award of a contract to Chana Zablocki, MD, Hillside, New Jersey, to provide pediatric physician services, sexually transmitted disease services for the period May 1, 2014 through April 30, 2015, at a cost not to exceed $50,000 unless further authorized by City Council.
Heard reading the resolution, what is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
Yes, it's one comment, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Patricia Perkins Dusting.
Thank you so much. Just for the collecting bargaining agreements, is there any way we can see the contracts of what we're voting on? I asked a lot of times you vote on it, and then people will say, oh, you guys voted on this, you voted on that. And a lot of times we just peruse one page of the contract.
Anything else? Anyone else?
Mr. President, do we have the answer for how many patients we actually treated last year?
I didn't hear you.
The last one at the bottom, do we have the answer for how many patients we took care of?
That's 2 pages of answers. For the doctors?
Like, can we get the answer after the fact? At least we know?
It's on the, bottom. There's a 2-page answers to our questions.
I see.
The end of the 2nd page. The doctor provides services under the Visiting Nurse and Health Service Organizations and fees and charges to non-residents. There are fees charged to non-residents.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, Councilman.
Mr. President.
Okay, Councilman.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm happy to see this memorandum of understanding that's being put forth tonight, and I hope my colleagues will support it. It is very important to the construction of the Goethals Bridge that they put that link is something that the administration, for myself, had been advocating for and did not agree to the construction of the bridge unless they design a link, particularly linking 278 to 109 heading north. This will begin that design and the process that's going to take place for that to happen. I've had a number of residents in the Bay Area particularly who are concerned about this and are anxious to see what that's going to look like. And the reason we advocated for that is because they were the ones that are going to be directly impacted when they build a new bridge, because it's going to have multiple lanes and it's going to be more traffic, and without that it would be a disaster for the Bay Area. So I'm very happy to see that this is moving forward. I understand they've put aside about $130 million for the authority to add this extension to it, and I'm very happy that this is moving forward, and I hope my colleagues will support it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good job, Councilman. I know that the residents of that area will be appreciative to avoid an increase in traffic. So I appreciate your help with the administration, so follow along. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty. Councilman Questa. Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Gollman. Councilman Mazza. President Brooke.
Aye.
Authorize proper city officials to accept a grant amount not to exceed $39,337 from the New Jersey Department of Health Division of HIV, STD, and TB Services to address sexually transmitted diseases through screenings in education. Authorize the postponement of the city's second mortgage held on the property located at 817 Martin Street in the amount of $38,650. Authorize the approval of an urban enterprise zone assistance funds for a direct loan to DANIC 5 LLC in the amount of $1 million for the acquisition of commercial property located at 2 Slater Drive, formerly known as Kristen Distributors, to enable the Atalanta Corporation to continue its expansion of operations in the city of Elizabeth. Authorize the designation of Y Homes, Inc. as a community housing development organization within the city of Elizabeth to support and help low and moderate income persons who meet housing and urban development criteria to facilitate living in the community. Authorize the proper city officials to execute an access agreement with the joint meeting of Essex and Union counties to allow the city to complete the levee maintenance associated with the Elizabeth River Flood Control Project on South Front Street to Trenton Avenue. Authorize the award of contract to Hatchmont McDonald, Island, New Jersey, to provide professional engineering and field services in connection with the construction phases of Elizabeth River Flood Control Project 11 maintenance on South Front Street to Trenton Avenue in an amount not to exceed $190,000. Authorize change order number 1 to the contract awarded to Simpson and Brown, Inc. for the municipal marina rehabilitation at a cost of $2,334,890.44. Specifically to provide for hidden damages to the steel wave screen protecting the marina from the navigation channel at an additional cost of $95,213. Authorizing order of contract to Fagon Electric, Inc., Piscataway, New Jersey, for traffic signal improvements on Elizabeth Avenue at Jefferson Avenue and Elizabeth Avenue at Bridge Street and Winfield Scott Plaza at a cost of $886,474.10. Authorizing order of contract to Johnson, Moran, and Thompson, Inc., Trenton, New Jersey, to provide professional engineering services in connection with the design and construction administration of the 2014 road resurfacing project at a cost not to exceed $159,000. Authorizing order of contract to T&M Associates, Middleton, New Jersey, to provide professional engineering services in connection with the design and construction administration of the 2014 road resurfacing project at a cost not to exceed $168,680. Appoint Mr. William Alston, Elizabeth, to serve as a constable in and for the city of Elizabeth for a term of 3 years. Grant permission to place a vanity street sign on High Street and 3rd Street in recognition of Joe Long, a member of the famous Four Seasons singing group. Pay utility bills, approve bingo and raffle licenses.
Should be High Street and Third Avenue. Heard a reading of the resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move the resolution for a vote, Mr. President.
Dave Williams, moved and seconded. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Torres.
I'm glad to see the UEZ Zone Assistance Fund to identify. I'm hoping my colleagues support this. This is going to create jobs for residents of the city. I believe 30 to 40 jobs, and it's going to bring revenue. So I'm hoping you guys support this project.
Sure, Councilman. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman, request.
President, I'd love to see that we have this, permission for the, street sign, Councilman House and I have been working on. I'm not going to speak again to Mr. Long, because I did that last Tuesday. However, I'm working on certain, dates for activities, to celebrate this occasion. And when Councilman House and I have those details, we shall provide those to you, Mr. President, and City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilman Quest. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say, want to acknowledge the administration for what they're doing in terms of doing some of the road resurfacing. You know, while we've done a great job of maintaining our streets, it's always good to see that we're trying to keep up, particularly given the snowfalls that we've had recently and what we may have in the future. Also want to comment that I think Mr. Alston will make a good constable here for the city of Elizabeth. I think that's a good thing. I want to take a moment also, Mr. President, just to comment on what was touched on tonight by the public regarding the animal shelter. And I hope that we do, I don't want to rush the investigation, but I hope there we have a time frame of sorts, if you will, so we can get a response and give, particularly Ms. Arteta, who is from the 2nd Ward, and this incident happened with her dogs. We can give them some kind of response so that this way we can move this issue and move forward with the shelter and making improvements that we may need there. Even if it means maybe having it run by a nonprofit. I don't know if that's the answer or not, but hopefully I'm looking forward to get some kind of response soon. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? Councilman Bass.
Mr. President, there's T&M Associates with $168,000, almost $170,000. Is your staff to be able to, will you be able to watch what kind of black tars we're placing on our streets? I mean, if it's the same quality we did with the $6 million, it's going to be another hole in the water. So that's his primary job, to oversee if whoever lays those 3 or 4 inches of.
That's great. That's it, John.
But the quality, is that the same quality?
Or
Remember, we debated in a pre-council meeting to make sure that this time that we use a better quality, so the streets will remain intact after a year or 2 years. I still have a section on Division Street, Mr. President, that right after they paved, I put a complaint 2 months later, and it's still in deterioration condition. Nothing happened, and I was advised I would be going to the law department eventually to go after the insurance of the contractor. Nothing happened.
we'll do is this, Councilman Mazza, we'll have a letter sent to both of these engineering companies who are going to be working separately on 2 portions of the road resurfacing project, and ask them to make sure that they give us the best quality of asphalt in their
Thank
package.
you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? I just wanted to make one comment. Well, actually, first of all, Councilman Torres, great job in working with Danic 5, which is part of the Atalanta Corporation, in having them move forward with the acquisition of an old warehouse that's been empty for a couple of months, and hopefully transforming that warehouse into a good business that will provide jobs for the neighborhood. So I congratulate you, Councilman, on that. With regard to the animal shelter situation and the investigation, that is something that is beyond our control. I think the public has to understand that things like this do not happen overnight. We want to make sure that they do a great job in the investigation and then come back to the director with a recommendation. I don't want to belittle the angst that Ms. Arietta is going to, but the reality is that if there is an investigation ongoing with the law department in this situation, I'd like to give them as much time as they need to give us an answer. And I just want the public to know that. This time, I ask for a roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
No one to change with an eye on everything else.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Torres. Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Keenan. Councilman Ball. Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President